Thank you very much for being here. As he was saying, my name is Arnaud Castaignet. I'm the VP of Skeleton Technologies, and Skeleton Technologies is a high-power energy storage company coming from Estonia. So since I'm coming from Estonia, I also want to thank the organizers of Web Summit for giving me the opportunity of getting a little bit of vitamin D. It's very important at this time of the year. And I'm here to talk to you about lithium-ion batteries, and also about why we should already start thinking beyond lithium and what's coming next, and also why lithium and lithium-ion batteries are not the silver bullet to help us reach net zero goals. In the recent years, lithium-ion batteries almost became the synonym of energy storage. We're all very familiar with the technology now, whether it's in your smartphone or in your laptop, any kind of electronic device, in all of the electric vehicles. And I think we can fairly say that lithium-ion batteries are probably one of the best innovation that happened in the last 30 years, one of the most significant advancements to help us reach our goals of decarbonation and electrification. It has not always been the case, though. Actually, the technology is not that young. It started being developed in the 1970s, and it has been commercialized for the first time by Sony in 1991. However, it really took a very important decrease in terms of cost, a decrease of around 80%, so a very major drop in the last decade, to make lithium-ion batteries very profitable for manufacturers and very bankable for everyone. So it's really in the last decade that we saw the multiplication of emergence of companies producing lithium-ion batteries, but also a widespread use of these technologies. Nowadays, China produces around close to 80% of lithium-ion batteries globally. However, we see that the US, with the Inflation Reduction Act, is aiming to really turbocharge it. And also, even in Europe, we have like more than 50 gigafactories projects coming. So lithium-ion batteries, nowadays, everyone is really serious about it, and everyone wants to develop it. However, the technology has flaws. First of all, it can sometimes burn, or it's at least not functioning very well under difficult climate conditions. If it's too hot, if it's too cold, lithium-ion batteries' performances can really suffer. Also, and this is perhaps even more important, lithium-ion batteries don't only need lithium. They need other kind of critical materials, such as cobalt, such as manganese, such as nickel. And the supply of these critical materials has not always been a synonym of human rights, for instance, especially the mining of cobalt, for instance. And regarding nickel, the issue is that we already know that by 2030, we won't have enough nickel to match demand. Regarding lithium, it's actually a bit similar, even if lithium is a bit more widespread. But only a few countries concentrate the huge majority of the reserves of lithium globally. And again, we know already that lithium supply is not going to be able to match the demand around 2030. We can find ways to extend it by having more recycling, for instance, or by lowering the needs for lithium. However, we also need to find some solutions and alternatives in order to mitigate that demand. So one of the ways of doing it is, of course, reducing the use of these critical materials. So regarding nickel and cobalt, there are already technologies such as LFP batteries using lithium, of course, but also iron and phosphate, which can then really dramatically reduce the need for critical materials, and therefore use also some raw materials like iron and phosphate, which are cheaper and more widely available. However, this doesn't solve the question of lithium. So another way is also to focus lithium-ion batteries on what they're good at. Lithium-ion batteries are very light. They can have a lot of energy density, so they're very perfect for electric vehicles. However, in terms of electrification and decarbonation, you don't always need energy density. Sometimes what really matters is whether being able to charge really fast, or the ability to release and unleash a huge amount of power, not energy. I'm talking here about applications, for instance, if you want to electrify mining trucks, for instance, or terminal tractors in ports, or heavy-duty vehicles, heavy machineries. There, in those cases, especially when they have to function 24 hours and when they always go from a point A to a point B and then coming back, what really matters is the ability to really use a lot of power and the ability to charge really fast in seconds. Here comes one technology called supercapacitors. And comparing supercapacitors and batteries is a bit like comparing Usain Bolt and Mo Farah. I'm not saying that one is better than the other. Great are both excellent athletes. It's just that they're competing in different competition, different performances. They have different skills. Sometimes you need high power. You need to go really fast with an extreme amount of power. This is what supercapacitors are for. Sometimes you need to do it a bit more slowly, but for longer term, with more energy density. And this is what batteries are doing. So making sure that we're using lithium-ion batteries only in applications where they can perform the best is another excellent way to really reduce the demand for lithium-ion batteries. And then you can really use other kind of technologies like supercapacitors for all these applications where you need a lot of power. This is actually what we're doing at Skeleton Technologies. We're doing high-power energy storage. So we produce supercapacitors and also super battery, which are hybrid between the two technologies, meaning that you still keep the high-power part, but you can use it for longer-term applications than usual supercapacitors. So actually, we cover applications of up to 30 minutes when you need a lot of power as well. So we are already working with companies such as Siemens or Shell or Honda, really focusing on these applications for high power. But this quest for alternatives to lithium-ion batteries is something that is also driving a lot of innovation in terms of critical raw materials and also in terms of finding alternatives to these critical raw materials. Because if we can solve this, we can also solve a lot of issues related to recycling, for instance, or related to the scarcity of these critical raw materials. So a lot of companies are actually working really hard on developing substitutes to these critical raw materials and to these often toxic metals. Again, it is another thing that Skeleton Technology is doing. We have patented our own raw material, which we call curved graphene, meaning that our products don't need nickel, don't need cobalt, don't need lithium. We developed this raw material, this patented curved graphene in Germany, and we use it for our high-power energy storage systems that we produce in Germany as well. This is a really key topic, and actually, it's not only a topic for the battery sector. If you talk about hydrogen, for instance, there's also this issue of the use of rare earths in electrolyzers. So already a lot of companies are trying to innovate and find some substitute to that and find a way not to use rare earths. It's the case, for instance, of a German company called Sunfire, which has developed electrolyzers that don't need rare earths. It's a really critical topic that is becoming really key in a lot of government strategy. Just last year, in the Inflation Reduction Act, the US has decided to dedicate 600 million euros on this topic of critical raw materials and on the topic precisely of finding and developing alternatives, substitutes, synthetic version of these critical materials. So these questions of finding alternatives is really widespread in all of the clean technologies, actually. Again, I mentioned electrolyzers, but going back to batteries, this has really been one of the main drivers of innovation in recent years, with a lot of companies trying to go for what we could call the holy grail of batteries in some ways. So batteries that would not need those critical materials, not need lithium, because even if lithium-ion batteries have a lot of advantages, it has also a lot of flaws, unfortunately. And here, in the development of new technologies of batteries, there's no one single technology that is leading the pack now. Actually, it has never been as exciting to be in the battery industry because a lot of companies are investigating different kind of technologies that can perhaps and hopefully solve all these issues of the access to critical materials and the scarcity of that. One example here, again with Skeleton, is sodium-ion batteries. Sodium-ion batteries would not need lithium and would be based on sodium, which is of course very cheap. It's in rock salts, widely available. And until now, the main issue was the relatively lower energy density compared to lithium-ion batteries. However, and this is something we are investigating and researching, however, it can really be one of the key technology in the future if we really manage to reach the next level in terms of energy density as well in the sodium-ion battery segment. Other companies are developing solid-state batteries. Solid-state batteries have a different issue. They're very expensive. However, the big advantage that solid-state batteries have is that solid-state batteries have much more energy density, making them really suitable for automotive applications. So in order to really power the vehicle for a much longer time. However, again, solid-state batteries provide less power density, so there's no technology that is actually the perfect one. But I could mention also examples like CO2 batteries. An Italian company called Energy Dome is developing CO2 batteries using liquid CO2, and again, avoiding the need for lithium in those batteries. So this quest right now, and this race has not found any winner yet. There's no one technology that is going to kill all the other ones. Because there are different needs for technology. Sometimes you need high power, sometimes you need fast charging, sometimes you need long duration. So there's no one silver bullet that is going to be a technology that then is going to be used for all of the applications in terms of energy storage. Because if we really want to reach net zero, we need to be able to decarbonize all of the sectors. Not only the automotive sector, but also mining sector, also construction sector, etc., etc. Every sector needs to decarbonize, and we need all the technologies available to really reach this target. But what if we don't even need batteries for some of the applications? And actually, it's also the case. I mean, batteries are not going to solve all of the issues in terms of energy storage. There are also alternatives that can be found in order to even lower our own needs for batteries. Because if lithium is not the silver bullet for batteries, batteries are actually not even the silver bullet for energy storage. So it's really important to go beyond the existing technologies and not only to think about what we currently know, but try to imagine what kind of technologies will be available in the future to reach our goals. It's really important to start from the goals and then develop technologies behind it. And here, again, a lot of other technologies are being developed, such as gravity energy storage, for instance, which is something extremely exciting as well, or pump hydroelectricity energy storage. So again, alternatives are there. It's really important to keep in mind that innovation is not linear, and that the technologies that we have now are not necessarily the technologies that are going to be able to solve our future and help us reach our long-term goals. So it's important to think outside of the box, not just being stuck with the existing technology. Let's trust the process, and let's always innovate and not only focus on what we currently know, but always have in mind the goal that we want to reach in the future. So thank you.